With the waters rising here at Elk Creek at least 6 feet in about 30 minutes, that meant time was very critical for their survival. Good Friday evening, everyone. The body of a woman who was missing for more than 24 hours was discovered today. When it was passed, AB 843, you were one of 8 no votes.
Oh, I have turkey, of course.
You got the big turkey? Do you let the elves fight over the drumstick? But you're saying is when the Badger game gets done, that's when the slop's going to start moving on in? Where does this sit maybe going forward now for the rest of the summer and fall? All this from someone named,
believe it or not, Jesse Horne.
The distance between this hardwood and the one at Barron High School is only about 38 miles. But in recent weeks, that distance has been made much smaller. All you have to do is look on the gymnasium walls and see the name of Jim Claus, Jamie's father, who was killed in October.
He was an outgoing guy. Never was mean to anybody.
Jim's nephew, junior point guard Carter Claus, is on the Ladysmith boys basketball team.
I just try to take the best from everything and make it the best I possibly can.
You've gone out, had a little too much to drink, and then hail a lift.
Well, it turns out my passenger goes, she doesn't have any pants on.
That's when a driver such as Dave Alderson of Menominee picks you up.
For that to hit me at about 2:30 in the morning, it's like, okay, well, I guess I've seen everything now.
He's trying to stand out from other drivers, from offering candy to riders, to even decking his car out on St. Patrick's Day. But his lift can be boiled down to 4 letters.
My license plate says Lyft, L-Y-F-T. And most people are kind of like just caught off guard by seeing my profile, my van, and Lyft, and they're looking for the license plate and they can't see it, and when I pull up, they're like, oh, I get it.
Prayer was definitely the big theme of the day, as a few were made inside Precision Pipeline in all respects to see if there would be prayers answered 27 days from now, come election day.
Jesse, I don't know if you heard, totally just had a bug fly in my mouth. That's what happens. The bugs love this warmer weather.
I need to get you like one of those masks for your face next time we do the forecast on the patio.
Mosquito net thing? Yeah, I should get one of those.
All right, we'll get on in and get so you don't get more bugs in your mouth. All right, Drew, thank you.
I really like, like the sound of it.
That sound.
I really like the click-clack of the cups.
And his hands have taken him far.
Iowa, Florida, Colorado, Missouri.
All this from someone named,
believe it or not, Jesse Horne.
Not that other Jesse Horne. Does it surprise you, I mean, as I said in the intro, is that a generation, your generation has grown up basically just seeing this happen and not knowing what it was like beforehand. How do you talk with your friends as far as that threat goes? Because back on Friday, there's a student down in Santa Fe, Texas, and says, was she surprised? No, I expect this was going to happen at some point. Do you have those similar feelings?
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge issue. Is the thing is that, like, our generation is a generation that's grown up in a time where school shootings are normalized.
But it was a sad memory which hung over this tree before the sun rose this morning. 103 years has been a long time for this Norwegian spruce. In fact, 15 U.S. presidents have come around during the time that this tree has stood here in Whitehall since being brought over in 1928. But on Friday, that timeline came to an end. The first sign that today would be the spruce's final sunrise, parking spots on Main Street were blocked off at 5 a.m. The reason for taking the massive tree down, Wisconsin statutes call for an unobstructed view of rail crossings 330 feet from the center of an intersection. And Bob, good evening. The old Scotch English phrase is the best laid plans of mice and men can often go awry. Well, that was certainly the case Monday with day 6 of the Doug Netek trial. Netek's attorneys had 10 witnesses lined up to take the stand. But then Charles Glynn opened by saying,
and Mr. Netek rests.
Thank you.
St. Clair County Judge Scott Needham stated this meant Netek, charged in the 2016 killing of Russ County Deputy Dan Glaze, gave up his right to testify. Well, many of us are familiar with the 1950s Brenda Lee song, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. But for many in recent years, that tree has been an artificial one. Now new numbers show a push back to the real thing. WEAU's Denton Postlewaite explains. Today, the 88-year-old Independence native, now living outside of Washington, D.C., was back at her old church, visiting relatives, preserving memories, and seeing her $500,000 gift come to life in the form of the new North Elevator Edition.
Adeline wanted to make sure everything was done right for this edition, including having the same brickwork and stained glass that was used when the original church was built back in 1895.
Yeah, we'll try, Danielle. What got us thinking about this was the race for governor. The last Marquette Law School poll to have a head-to-head was taken in June. Now, that race showed that Governor Scott Walker had a 4-point lead over Democrat Tony Evers. But last week, NBC News released its poll numbers. And here you can see Evers leads Walker by 13 points. Which poll was correct and what makes for a good poll? Yeah, Bob, good evening. I know the phrase is, if it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press. But for this segment, let's go with, if it's Friday, Chuck Todd meets the press. Earlier today, we had a chance to dial in the moderator of the Sunday discussion show in Washington and ask him to kind of game plan a few of the items heading into that Tuesday primary. The thing is, he didn't dive too much into that Republican race between Leah Vukmir and Kevin Nicholson. He said Senate Republicans there in D.C. don't view a showdown against Democrat incumbent Tammy Baldwin as a top opportunity for the GOP. Instead, the race for governor for Republican incumbent Scott Walker is setting up in his mind to be the big showdown for the Badger State heading into the fall.
You know, 2 weeks from this coming Sunday is September 1st, and that's what's called meteorological autumn.
Yes.
You know, I saw that come up. I'm like, oh, means we're enjoying summer, and then you have to start depressing me.
It's coming too fast. I'm not ready for it.
Yeah, we have to be. That's all right, though. Sounds good, Tucker. Thank you very much. 2010 was the last time the Mondovi football team scored a win in the WIAA playoffs. We'll have a preview of the Buffalo's upcoming season after the break. 2010 was also the last time the Eau Claire Express last won a Northwoods League title. We've got highlights from tonight's championship game against Traverse City. Justice, sports, next.
Do you want to go or me?
Zach Chafee locks in for another battle at Eau Claire Games and Arcade.
And then does 1 damage to this, I'm going to regenerate it. You've only lost 2. And then I'm going to use his +2 to draw 2.
This is the language of Magic, one of the first ever collectible trading card games.
Well, for me, there's a lot of strategy in it. And so I have to think about what I'm doing. There's a strong bond with everybody that plays these type of games that you can't really find much where else.
And even if it's a Psychic Ace, a Dark Angel, or even a Griggle, the cards in these games can have more value than even when they're just played during a friendly match. It was the last question of the night asked in the alumni room here at Davies Center on the UW Eau Claire campus. On that panel, we had 2 supporters of Donald Trump, 2 that were leaning for Hillary Clinton, and 1, as of that night, undecided voter. And their answers to this question that night may shed some light into the mindset of the Chippewa Valley voter in this final push on the race to the White House. On November 9th, the day after the election, we have a new president. And it's not who you supported. Will you accept that result? We're going to start with you, Dan, and we're going to work around. Welcome back. As we move into the holiday season over the next few weeks, many of the traditions we know are coming back, and this includes many that can be found in downtown Chippewa Falls. Joining us now to talk more about it is Terry Wilmette with Chippewa Falls Main Street, and I think you know who this guy is right here. Good old Santa Claus coming on in. Folks, thanks for coming on over today. So,
thank you for having us.
I will start with, I was going to say, Santa, how was the fly down here from the North Pole?
Fly, it was great. It was great. It was quick and cool. That's the way I like it.
Well, you can visit 8 unique gardens in Eau Claire this weekend and get inspired at the same time. The Eau Claire Garden Club is hosting its first ever Eau Claire Gardens in Bloom tours Saturday, July 14th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And joining us now to talk more about it is Marty O'Halloran with the Garden Club. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Yes,
nice to
and
see
this
you.
is the first ever for you guys.
It is our first one. The Chippewa Valley Symphony did garden tours for a number of years, and they stopped doing it, and we kind of missed it, so we thought, well, we'll give it a try.
All right, Tucker, thank you. Eau Claire Police is looking for a man involved in what's being described as an intentional hit-and-run incident earlier today. This began on Hastings Way and ended just off of Western Avenue on Eau Claire's north side. Authorities identified the suspect as 32-year-old Christopher Parker. They say Parker sideswiped an acquaintance and then hit the same vehicle head-on, then left on foot. Parker has previous felony arrest warrants for unrelated charges. Anyone with information on Parker is asked to contact Eau Claire Police. It's time for heavy snow to once again come on down as another round of messy weather is starting to roll into the Chippewa Valley tonight. We wish we could just go out there and push it away, but that's not possible. The only question now for as we bring in meteorologist Tucker Antico. All right, Tucker, How much are we getting? Welcome back, everyone. During this June Dairy Month, dairy breakfasts fill up the calendar, and Trempealeau County's Dairy Breakfast is tomorrow in Independence. WEAU's Abigail Hankey caught up with the family hosting this year's event, which will likely be making a lot of noise over their Swiss heritage. All right, from us to you, thanks for watching us here at 6. We'll be back here tonight at 10.